Hi, and welcome to Network Rhinos on this AWS and DevOps from scratch program. So myself, Vishnu, I'll be the tutor for today's session. So in the entire course, we're going to talk about from basics to advanced level of AWS plus DevOps, starting from basics, then SAA C03, nothing but Solution Architect Associate C03, followed by Developer Associate topics, SysOps Admin topics, and then DevOps tools. Okay. So I'll start in 5 minutes. I'll give you the basic introduction about what we will cover. So we are going to prepare for the examinations like the one which I informed before, and it's going to be a challenging certification. So this course will be somewhat long and interesting, and I'm going to make sure each and every one, those who are joining the classes, easily understand the way what I am teaching. To understand this course, basic IT knowledge is necessary. Like you should be aware of what is a computer, what is IP address, MAC address. So those basics are very, very important. So as I told you, this is going to be a from scratch to advanced level training. We're going to cover more than 30 plus AWS services, 15 plus DevOps tools, all these things. So take your time because learning is not equal to racing and all. Until unless you understand the concept, try to study again and again. Okay, great. So myself, Vishnuvardhan S. Again, I worked as an IT consultant for AWS or Amazon and Cisco. I worked for more than 5 to 6 years in AWS, which is in Bangalore, for AWS, like in Amazon. You can find my name on GitHub, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, even in ChatGPT. Okay. Fine. So let's talk about AWS. So AWS means what? AWS expands to Amazon Web Services. This is basically a cloud provider. A lot of people think whenever we talk about AWS, they think it is a virtual thing. See, it is not a virtual thing. That's a myth. I want to explain this in a very simple way. AWS is something physical device is there, but it is not near to you. Imagine, I'll give an introduction now. Imagine your friend has a laptop, okay, and he is in US. You are living in India. You want to take remote control of his laptop. Maybe he is using a MacBook laptop, okay, MacBook laptop, and you are having a Windows laptop. Maybe for a college project, you need to take, you need a MacBook laptop. Now, instead of buying a MacBook laptop just for 5 6 days, you ask your friend that, hey, I will take remote control of your laptop. I want to do some project work in MacBook Pro. So he will give you the remote access for his laptop on your Windows machine, right? For you sitting in India, this is called his laptop is a cloud. For him, it's a physical machine. Clear? So cloud is nothing but a physical machine only, like a server, router, switches, firewall. They are placed in a far location and you use it from remote location. Okay. Now, AWS, they provide you with servers and services that you can use on demand or scale easily. When I say on demand and scale easily, these are very, very important terms in AWS or cloud services. Think like this, night 3 a.m. in the midnight, you need a cloud storage to store some important files and all. Maybe your 5 GB of file storage I need. So what you will do, you can simply create a Google Drive. Okay, like when you create a new Gmail, they will give you 15 GB of free space, right? So on demand, meaning whenever you want it, you just configure and use it. You don't need to call someone, ask someone to build it for you, nothing like that. Scale easily means imagine next day morning you want need a 50 GB of storage instead of 15 GB storage or 100 GB storage. You can pay in one click, they can increase that storage speed, right? Storage strength, storage. instead of 15 GB, they will give you 100 GB. That's called scale easily. So these two things are very important in cloud. And AWS has revolutionized IT over time. So as of now, the biggest companies like Amazon.com, Netflix, these things are powered by AWS only or Amazon Web Service only. Now, technically speaking, or non-technically, sorry speaking, AWS is what? Think like Amazon has multiple companies. Amazon has Amazon Prime, Amazon Pay, Amazon Alexa, Amazon.com, Amazon Fresh. Same way, Amazon has Amazon Web Services. Now, why the word we use Amazon Web Services? Because we can enjoy all the services offered by Amazon using a simple website. I'll show you the website. We'll do labs and all. So all the services offered by Amazon under AWS can be accessed via a website. These are some of the important instances which I am showing you. We'll study more than this also. I'm just giving you an overview. So we'll talk about Amazon ECR, EC2, ECS, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, auto scaling, IAM, AWS KMS, Amazon S3, SES, RDS, Aurora, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, SQS, SNS, AWS Step Function, and CloudWatch, CloudFormation, CloudTrail, Gateway, Load Balancing, CloudFront, Kinesis, Route 53, and there are some more additional instances also we are going to add in. So all these instances you'll study in a 4-step process: theory, lab, real-time practical scenario, as well as interview questions. Clear? See, navigating the AWS is almost like a spaghetti bowl. Why like that? See, imagine you are an Android phone user. I am giving you an iPhone. It will be bit hard initial time, right? Even to set alarm, change wallpaper, you will find a difficulty. But as you keep on using the iPhone, it becomes easy for you to work with it. Correct. So same way, the AWS console portal. There is a website called AWS console portal. It looks like this. I'll show you now. There you can see this AWS console portal. Initially, you might think it is hard to work, or you might take some additional time to do labs and all. But once you start practicing with the AWS console portal, this becomes very easy to navigate and do. So because there is no much coding involved in this, it becomes more easier for you to work with these console portals and all. Okay. Fine. So you have to give some time. So network rhinos learning tip, I always tell to do a lot of labs, because when you study a topic like a theory, you might remember them for 5 days. But same theory you do lab, you'll remember it for 5 months. You won't forget it. But labs you have to do at least 3 to 4 times, because on day one you do lab, same lab you repeat on day 5 also. Same lab you repeat on day 10. Same lab repeat on day 20 or 25. See, first time when you do the lab, right? Same lab you do. For example, creating of a EC2 machine. You might take around 10 minutes. On fifth day, you repeat same lab. You can do it in 5 minutes. 10th day, you'll repeat in 2 to 3 minutes. You can do the same lab. 20th day when you repeat, right, you might think AWS console portal is slow. You can do within a minute of time. Click, 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 just finish the lab. That's why repeating the lab is very, very important. More times the same lab you do, more faster you can do the lab. Okay, great. Fine. See, AWS was initially launched in the year of 2002. Internally, it was launched. 2003, it became the core strength IRA to market options. 2004, they have launched publicly with SQS Simple Queue Services. In 2006, they have relaunched it publicly with SQS S3 and EC2. 2007, they have launched in the European countries. And in now, the top companies like Dropbox, Netflix, Airbnb, and NASA, they're all using this particular AWS cloud service only. Okay. So when you compare the number facts of AWS compared to any other cloud service providers, you'll see AWS is highly used compared to Microsoft and Google, Alibaba Cloud and all. So if you are someone who is very new to cloud and you want to choose between one of these, you can choose AWS easily because more companies are using it. Okay. See, your AWS enables you to build sophisticated and scalable application, and it is for diverse set of industry, starting from restaurants like McDonald's, like movie company like 21st Century Fox, Activision, Netflix, all the way to mobile application, everything AWS is handling. So end to end, any companies you take for any use cases, AWS are getting used. Okay. Now, a lot of people ask me one question. Hey, Vishnu, there are multiple major multiple cloud providers like AWS we have, Azure we have, and GCP we have. Which one should I study? For this, I made an image, like a side-by-side comparison between them. Let me show you that now. Just give me a minute. So there you go, a detailed information photo of why I choose AWS. See, because mostly only the graphical user interface between them is changing. Conceptual wise, it is same. Like when you study EC2 of AWS, it is same like Amazon Azure's virtual machine or Google's compute engine. When you study about S3 in AWS, it's equal to blob storage or GCS, Google Cloud Storage. Same with RDS, VPC. They are just different names they have given. But conceptual wise, if you talk about what is AWS Lambda, Azure function, the concepts are same. So you no need to stress about, hey Vishnu, I need to study Azure or GCP or all three. So always tell one cloud is enough to launch a career. So just learn smart, not just studying lot of things. Instead of learning 20% from GCP, 20% from AWS, 20 from Azure, you study AWS 100% so that you have a good knowledge. See, cloud platforms use different names, but the concepts are same. So if you master in one AWS cloud platform, right, you can easily adapt Azure and GCP. So focus on always building a real skill, not just collecting lot of multiple certificates. This is what I always tell my students. Okay, fine. So let's come back to the concept now. See, the first content or topic when you talk about AWS is the difference between AWS region, AWS availability zone, and data center. See, AWS cloud, when you say right as a whole, cloud is all about lot of data centers placed in one single location. Imagine you check India. In India, there are two places where AWS has deployed the data center. One is in Hyderabad, second is in Mumbai. Now, this Hyderabad and Mumbai, where data centers are located, they are termed as the region. Region is what? Region is the area where Amazon has deployed the cloud infrastructure. Region is the city name, like Hyderabad is a region, Mumbai is a region. Like that, we got London, Ireland, Stockholm, Frankfurt, Spain, Virginia, Ohio. Multiple regions are there. Now, inside one region, Amazon will not keep one single data center. They'll keep a lot of data center, a group of DC under one big building. Think like building like Walmart or D-Mart in India. It's a very huge shopping building, right? Like that, one building is summed as one availability zone. So one AZ is equal to one big area where Amazon has multiple data center servers configured. Inside data center servers only, your services are running, like your EC2 services, whatever service I showed you before, right? 30 services. They're all running inside data center, which is placed under one availability zone, which is in the region called AWS region. Okay. So under one big room, one big hall, we have multiple data center servers. This one big area, which is covered with a lot of fences and everything, where they have a lot of data centers, that's called as availability zone. And AZ will be inside one region. See, one region will not have only one AZ. One region will have at least three minimum availability zone. Why? Because if one fails, right, others can still function. That's the main reason Amazon has kept multiple or minimum three availability zone under one region. Inside each availability zone, we got hundreds of data center servers. Now, to visually understand where these services are located or where these regions are located, you can simply go to a website which is mentioned here, like infrastructure.aws. Let me show you that now. I'll just go here and I'll type that infrastructure AWS. Click on the first link, explore the services. Just a minute. Okay, great.
When you're working on a global scale, you need an infrastructure you can rely on.
You can check out this
That's why
video later on also, but I want to show it here. Now here you can see a big globe map and you can rotate it. On the here you can see North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. In Asia Pacific, we have locations in Asia Pacific, Mumbai and Hyderabad. If I click on Mumbai, you can see I have like how many availability zone? I have 3 availability zone. Mumbai, 3. Hyderabad is also 3. See, minimum they should have 3 availability zone. Less than that, we should not have. We can have 6, 7 also, max, but minimum 3 is kind of mandatory thing. At least if one fails, other can still function. That's a main reason behind having minimum 3. Okay, great. Now, as I informed you, AWS regions are nothing but the cities where Amazon has deployed the availability zone, which ultimately has your data center switches and all. See, the name of this particular AWS region depends on which direction they are located in the world map. If they are in north, we call it as north, northeast, or south, southeast, or west, or east. Like that, we can simply carry the name. For example, here you can see US East, sorry, US East 1, meaning it's in the US region, east direction. I have first. If I have one more region, then I'll mention US East 2. Same way I can mention here US West 3. So I might have US West 2, EU West 1. Here you can see US East direction, I have one region. Second region is Ohio, named as US East 2. In West, I have in California and Oregon. I mentioned US West 1 and US West 2. See, the region always ends with a number. Now, inside one region, when I'm having an availability zone, right, I can simply add ABC at the end. For example, I have AP Southeast 2 as a region. 2A is the availability zone. 2B is a AZ. 2C is also an AZ. So the availability zone ends with an alphabet. So A, B, and C. See now each availability zone has two redundant power, two networking connectivity and all. At least if one fails, other can be used. And these availability zones are connected using Amazon's it's owned by Amazon. Amazon's owned high bandwidth, ultra low latency networking connection. In case of any disaster, if entire availability zone goes off, at least we can run the business with other two. Okay, great. Now, how do I choose AWS region? See, there are multiple different ways you can choose AWS region. One of the four of the main thing which we see is the compliances. See, it's a data governance and legal requirements, meaning data never leaves a region without your explicit permission. Imagine you are developing a website where you're going to collect Aadhaar card information of all the citizens of India. Now that website you cannot host in China data center or in Pakistan or Bangladesh or some other country's location, right? You need to store Indian customers' information only in Indian servers because Aadhaar card is a very big thing. So same way, that's a compliance, rules and regulations. So we have to choose the region. First, check out the rules and regulations. Second, proximity to customers. See, the data center has to be located as close as possible to your customer. Imagine you are developing a matrimony portal like shadi.com, maybe mumbai Now you are sitting in US. You are a developer, you're sitting in US. You are developing a website called mumbai Your customers mostly lives in Mumbai location. So you try to host that application in Mumbai region only, not in US. So proximity to customers very, very important. Now available services. See, some regions do not have some services available and some region only has. So check out the service you need to bring up your application and if those services are available or not. Pricing, see your pricing will vary depending on the region also. It varies. Check out the pricing page also to choose the region. Okay. So you already cleared about availability zone. POP we'll see it later, not now. Or else I can explain you POP also. So let me explain you POP or a point of presence with a very simple example. Imagine that you live in a um, you live in a small village and the village name is X, Y, Z. And a lot of people are living inside this village. A lot of people who are living inside this village. And this village doesn't have its own supermarket. Okay. Now the nearest supermarket is like around 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers away. So if anybody wants anything like for shopping, milk, anything, they need to travel like hundreds of kilometers to go to that big supermarket in the city and they have to buy things and come back. So two-way it becomes 100 kilometers. Now this thing, the owner of supermarket notices. And owner thinks that, okay, I see that a lot of people from this small village called XYZ, they are coming to my super shopping market and they are buying the things. So why don't I open a small shop in the village itself? Okay. And he opens up a small shop in this village itself, and he will keep only the basic or very important things like milk packet, bread, cereals, rice, newspaper, all these basic things which they need. Now, this small supermarket is called POP, point of presence. This shopping mall is there, na? It's like your actual AWS region. And the owner name is Amazon's owner name. So AWS opens small point of presence based on the customers in that region. Like we have in Chennai, we don't have AWS region, right? So they will open POP and they will analyze what are the main services Chennai people are using. So I will open a small point of presence in Chennai itself. In their own Amazon building, they can open a small data center setup. Okay. This is all about the basics of your AWS. Now, if you guys have any questions, you can ping me in chat. If no questions, you can ping in chat. Okay. So we'll talk about IAM session now. Okay. I see some questions in portals that will be answered in the later session, and or my team member will be assisting you with the same. Okay. Now we'll talk about our first instance called IAM. IAM expands to Identity and Access Management. We'll talk about IAM users and group. So see, IAM is a global service, and that's the logo of IAM. Keep an eye on the logo also because it's very important to understand the logo. Normally, when you log into AWS console portal, right, you log in as a owner. Imagine you are the owner. You have a root account login. Now, once you create a root account login for yourself, you should not share that root account login to your employees because your employee needs a limited access. So what you do, you do not share your ID and password to your employees, and you create ID password for them. Now that login which you create for them is like IAM. So it's like you are an admin login, you are creating a guest login for them, and you give only the access which they need. You do not give all access. So they cannot see your billing information or card information. They cannot destroy a machine, or they cannot remove some instances which are running. You give limited access, whatever they need. So here the users are what? Users and group. When I say IAM users and group, who are users? Users are the people on working on your own company, your organization. And we can group the users into multiple small groups. Like it's not like only one employee working on one thing, right? As a developer. Like I might have Alice, Bob, and Charles, all of three working as a developer group. I might have Edward, David working as an operations group. I can even group multiple users from different groups into one group called audit group. Please remember, users don't have to be belong to a group also. I can have a user who is not part of any group. And group only consists of users. A group cannot be called under another group. Not possible. Okay. So group only contains users, not other groups. Now, why am I forming a group? Imagine I have Alice who joined my company. I have given maybe 50 set of permissions, what he can do and what he cannot do in AWS console portal. Think like this. You are joining as a developer in a company. You might have access for a lot of doors, correct? When Bob joined same company, instead of the admin team giving one by one door access to him, he can copy your entire policy which is holding by you to him, right? Simply I can copy whatever Alice has access. I will copy the entire access policy. I give it to Bob also. It's same. So I like that I can copy, or I can simply create a group called developer group, and I can call all the 50 different policies under developer group. So when I call Bob or new employee Charles or Alice to developer group, ultimately these 50 policies will be applicable to them also. So that you no need to write again and again, giving permissions, removing permissions and all. So you simply form a group. Okay. We'll see Jason later only, not now. Here you can see I have Alice, Bob, Charles. He's part of developer group, audit team. David is part of audit team. Edward is part of operations. Fred is inline, meaning he's not part of any group at all. Clear? Great. Talking about IAM password policy, see, like when you create a Gmail account or some account, right? We have to give a secure password. Same way in IAM also, you create a secure password. So I can set up a password minimum of like 8 character length. It should include uppercase, lowercase, number, non-alphanumeric characters, all of them. And I can allow all IAM users to change their own password. So I can give them a ID password. I can ask them, hey, if you want to change the password, you change the password. That's completely fine. And I can even tell like this, I can send an email to them, but once they log in, they will need to change the password. It's mandatory. Sometimes you might have received an email from a company. Once you receive the email, you might need to change the password immediately, right? They'll ask you to enter the current password, new password, confirm password. Even that we can do. I can even force my user not to reuse the same password again and again. I can tell them like this, saying that, hey, same password you cannot reuse again. You have to use new password only. I can even set a password expiration time. Maybe every 6 months once, 3 months once, they have to change the password. Okay. Now, what if a user loses the password? Anybody can log in, right? What if a user loses the password? That case, I'll be using MFA also, multi-factor authentication. Now, if you guys are working people, you might have seen some small pen drive kind of thing, or this one, virtual MFA devices like Amazon Auth, Google Authenticator, or YubiKeys and all. So it's like your username plus your password plus the MFA key. Only if you have all these three, you get access to the AWS console. If you don't have these three, or if you even lose your password, right? Anybody have stolen your password without MFA, they cannot log in. Not possible. So only your username, password plus MFA is equal to successful login. If a password is stolen or hacked, the account is not compromised. Either you can use a physical device or you can use a logical software applications also. Okay, that's it. Now we're gonna use or do the AWS IAM lab. Okay, these are small things. We'll see later on. Now to create AWS IAM, we can go to the console. First of all, you have to go to a place like just type Google Amazon console. Once you click on that, click on this first link that says aws.amazon.com. Then you can click on create account. You can create your own account also. It's completely free. I have created already and I logged in also. Here you can see. So before I start with anything, I want to give you the introduction about this particular page itself. So here you can see the page that shows AWS logo, nothing but the home button. Here if you click, you can see all services applicable or available in AWS. You can see all services also. Here's the search button. You can search for service here like this. We can search. You can click on Cloud Shell button to work with the Cloud Shell console. Notification button, help button, settings button to change some themes and all, light theme, dark theme, all these things. Here you can see the region I'm located. I'm in Asia Pacific, Sydney region. And the top you can see some numbers, right? That's my account ID. Okay, great. So let's go with the lab. Type IAM, hit on this, click on this button, IAM. As of now, you see this option. Left hand side, click on IAM users. See, as I informed you, there are a lot of options available. We no need to see everything in one shot. Step by step, we will learn. As of now, click on IAM users. Let's click on create user. For you, it will be blank. For example, I just remove this. I'll copy, confirm, paste, delete user. So when you do it for the first time, it is blank for you guys. So you have to click on create user. Now type here the username. For example, I wanna give you guys, maybe username is Rhinos. I want to give you the console access. Let's make it as network Rhinos. I want to give a password. I'll just give a password, not same password. I'll give a password maybe like I don't want you to create new password on the first login. I'll leave it as it is. So that's my username. I enter the password. I click on next. Now, again for you, it will be blank only. So you have to either you can create a user group. Sorry, you have to create a group and call the group under the user, or you can simply copy the permission from a different user. As of now, I don't have a user, or I can attach direct policy itself. There are more than 1,500 policies. I'll just go with the first option that says I'll create a group for you guys now. I'll show you how to create a group. Click on group creating. I'll just create a students IAM login. I want to give you only IAM access. So I type IAM full access and then I click on create. Create is in bottom. 1 minute. I click on create user group. Okay, maybe the name I have should have given. So Rhinos underscore students, search for IAM, click on this and then click on create user group. Create it. Now you have to click on checkbox to choose that user group. Click on next. That's it. Reviewer create page. Network Rhinos is the username and have the password also. And click on create user. That's it. Here you can see the ID dot is my ID. You can see on the top right? The 110 number, that's the same one. Dot sign in dot AWS console something. And that's the username. And that's my password shown up here. Now, if you want to practice the lab, you can also practice the lab. That's a password. So those who are watching online, just to have a basic overview of a free AWS console, you can take a screenshot also, and you can check out this lab later on. Welcome at 123, that's simple password. Okay, that's it. I can click on return to user list. Now click go back to users. Here you can see the users available. It shows network Rhinos. So that simple is to create a user. I am user in AWS. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please ask me now or else ping in chat. Okay. After this, finally, we'll go with a last small lab on a topic on EC2, which is very interesting. I'll show you how can you create your own MacBook Pro laptop or high power laptop online, that too for free or the minimal charge if you need a very high power. Okay. Next, we'll go with the EC2. The last topic on today's session. EC2 expands to Elastic Compute Cloud. Now, what do you mean by EC2? EC2 is now the most popular offering by AWS, and EC2 expands to Elastic Compute Cloud. It's a infrastructure as a service. It's very simple, guys. Imagine you want to rent a Windows machine or Linux server or a MacBook Pro laptop from Amazon. You can rent it using EC2 services. It's like a computer you can access, Linux computer or something like that. So renting a virtual machine is called EC2. You can store all your data in a hard disk called EBS, Elastic Block Storage, EBS. And you can even think about ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, or auto scaling group. We'll talk about that later as of now. No. EC2 means what? Renting a virtual machine, like renting a computer which is running in the AWS cloud. If you understand EC2, it becomes very, very easy to understand the entire cloud itself. Now imagine you're going to a shop and you want to buy a computer, a laptop. You will think about following things. You'll think about what OS should I buy? Should I need Linux OS or Windows or Mac OS? Then you'll think about how much CPU I need, how much RAM I need, how much storage I need. What should be the speed of internet supporting on my computer? Or think about some firewalls. So same way, when you create a virtual machine called EC2, that's the logo of EC2, guys, on the right hand side. When you create a virtual machine in EC2, you have to think, you have to tell the Amazon, what's my OS, how much CPU I need, how much RAM I need, how much hard disk I need, all these things, including how much network interface speed I need. Okay. All these things you can tell in EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So there are multiple options available. Like there are like more than 50, 60 different types of machines available. Depending on what name you choose, the CPU and RAM memory will change. Like you can see, I have 128 core CPU with 512 GB of RAM. You can think how big it is, right? I have a lot of options. I'll show you in the lab also. Now, key pair login is very, very important, guys. Like when you buy a computer, right? You buy the computer, you take it to your home. In home, you create admin ID and password. But in cloud, your computer is running in the cloud. So there must be a way for you to create ID and password, right? Same way, in cloud, when you create a machine, you have to give your machine a password while creating itself, so that only the user with that password, they should be able to access your machine. So this has to be done when you are actually creating the machine itself in the AWS portal. So that's called key pair. You should have this key pair on your machine to log into your EC2 instances. Okay. There are a lot of things about EC2 instances. I will do a lab before we jump into the other sessions. I'll show you other PPT slides and all. Okay. Now just let's go back to AWS. Now I want to create EC2 instance. So I just type EC2 on search bar. There is the same logo. Click on that. Again, left hand side, there are a lot of options available. I don't want to see all the options. So I click on launch instance. I'll minimize all these open tabs so that you can understand what are those tab means. So there you go with application and OS images, meaning what OS you need, what's instance type, meaning how much CPU, how much RAM you need. I'll do a highlight also. Okay, here you can see how much, what is OS, Windows, Linux machine, what is that? Then you see instance type. It includes what is my CPU, RAM I need. Here you have to generate your own key pair login. Network speed, how much I need to have a speed, or I can talk about firewall policies, like what traffic can come into my EC2, what traffic can go outside my EC2. Here I can choose storage. They are giving me 8 GB of free storage also that I can utilize. Then there are advanced settings also. A lot of settings are there. We don't not going to go with everyone. Let's go name it. I can say network Rhinos Linux machine. So I choose to go with Amazon Linux machine. If I want to change or increase the power, click on this. You can say T3 micro, which is free tier. You can start using the free tier for labs. They're giving you 2 vCPU also. You can scroll down. There are a lot of others option. You can choose like 72 vCPU, all these things and all. So scroll up and just go with the T3 micro. Key pair login. By default, it will be blank for you guys. You have to click on create new key pair. Give a name for the key pair. Maybe I'll give a name called Rhinos key. Then click on create key pair. This will download something on your laptop. This we have to keep it safe. See, once you have the one key pair, right, you can log in multiple machines also using one single key pair. But that key pair, the file which got downloaded, right, that file you have to keep it safe. Now other settings are default. Leave as it is. Right hand side, you can see summary, AMI, what's a T3 micro, firewall, all these things. Then click on launch instance phase. Easy. Now, once you launch the instances, you have to wait for at least 2 to 3 minutes. And you can come back to your instance page. You can see it's running. It will show you running state and status check is initializing. You can refresh also here. Now, how do I log into my instance? Very simple. Click on this, then click on connect. Then click on connect. Now there you go. I've got a Linux machine. So this is your Linux machine. Like if you're studying Red Hat Linux, you want to practice something, you can use to practice the Linux machines and all. Okay. I can make directory mkdir. Sorry for that. So I can run a lot of commands on Linux machine and I can make use of it. Okay. This is all about your creating an EC2 machine in few minutes. Okay. Like this, you can also create a Windows machine or a Mac machine also online, and you can use it for some time and you can even stop it. So one good habit, always keep it in mind. Whenever you create a machine or whatever you open in your console portal, always delete it immediately after practicing in the lab, because they will increase the charges and all on your console portal. So terminate it instance. Once you use it, delete it. That's it. Keep it in mind, always delete it. Some people keep it as it is, so don't do that. Whenever you launch a machine and all, always close it if you don't want to do anything with that for lab purpose. Okay. Okay, so that's all for today's session, guys. So thanks a lot for joining today's session. Now, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. And my slide is very big, guys. It's gonna go for like around 1,000 slides I have. I'll be sharing all my slides, class recordings, lab recordings separately. We'll do a lot of projects and work and all in my sessions. Okay. It'll keep on going. There's a lot of things to study about it. Now, if you have any questions, please ask me in chat. Thank you.